Before you quit the job, file the papers, or move cities, launch your business, shut everything down, or make the announcement, I want you to pause. You might be making the right move, exactly the right move, but because when you're in the messy middle, it is very easy to confuse urgency with clarity. This is for the woman who knows her current life no longer fits, but she does not fully know what comes next. Maybe it's your career, maybe it's your marriage, maybe it's your business, maybe it's your identity. Maybe you have achieved everything that you prayed for, and now you're asking, why doesn't this feel like enough? So, if any of that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. My name is Janet. I am a coach who specializes in helping high achieving women navigate the messy middle of life. I've coached executives, founders, women starting over to move from burnout and confusion to clarity, giving them the courage that they need for that next step. So, on this channel, we talk about real unfiltered truth of what it takes to rebuild your life. I give you proven frameworks and real stories. So if you're new here, consider hitting the subscribe button. You're going to want to be here for this. Now, the messy middle is the space between the life that no longer fits and the life that has not fully formed yet. It can be very uncomfortable because your old identity is losing power, but then your new identity does not have enough evidence. Now, in the last video, I talked about the strength trap, the way high achieving women can become hyper independent and addicted to motion or overperformance, over functioning, and becoming the default CEO of everything. If you happen to recognize that trap, then what? That is where many women make the next mistake. They try to escape the old life before they have listened deeply enough to the new one. Now, in this video, I'm going to teach you the 3 dangerous moves that we make that throw us right back into the same messy patterns that we're trying to avoid. And then I'm going to give you a pivot filter that you can use so you can make the right move with clarity and with comfort, knowing that the direction you're taking is going to feel aligned. So, the first dangerous move is the escape move. And it sounds like this: I just need out. I need to quit. I can't take this anymore. I need to leave. I need to burn it all down. The escape move is not always wrong. Sometimes leaving is necessary. But if the only goal is relief, you may not be choosing wisely. See, relief is information, but it doesn't give you direction. So before you find that relief, I want you to pay attention to the energy that's underneath that decision. Sometimes you just want to find relief because you don't want to sit long enough to find out what the discomfort is really trying to tell you. See, we can leave a relationship without understanding the patterns that got us here in the first place. We can leave a job without understanding whether we need a new career, a new business, a new company, or whether we just simply need rest. We can move cities and carry this same exhaustion into a prettier apartment. We can start a business and carry the same pressure that we had in corporate into that business. So before you make the escape move, ask yourself, am I running towards the truth or am I running away from discomfort? Now, the second mistake is the proving move. This is when you try to prove I'm still desirable, I'm still powerful, I did not waste my life, I can do it all by myself, I'm not behind. This might look like launching too fast, taking on too much, overworking, dating too soon, overspending, or posting the highlight reel before you have processed the truth. A proving move is when you're trying to convince the world of something your soul has not settled yet. It may appear as though it's ambition, as though you're confident enough in your decision, but the underlying factor there is this truly aligned? The proving move tries to show everybody else what you're doing. It doesn't come from the core of the alignment that you're looking for. A proving move builds a life for an audience. What it really is communicating is, does this make me look okay? Before you make a proving move, ask yourself, would I still choose this if nobody's clapping, if nobody notices? or if I get no approval from somebody else. So the third move is the shrinking move. This is when you choose what feels safe, even though deep down you know it is not fully true for you anymore. And this is what it sounds like. Let me just stay here. At least I know what to expect. Let me not ask for too much. Let me not disappoint anyone. Let me not make things complicated. Let me just be grateful. And listen, it sounds very wise. It sounds like stability, and you don't need to blow up your life to prove you are brave. But shrinking is different. Shrinking is when fear convinces you that you're being realistic. But what you're really doing is you're abandoning yourself. It is when you lower your needs or your voice or your standards or your desires just to keep the peace. And from the outside, it might look responsible. And especially, for example, in a marriage, when you're choosing whether to stay or get a divorce, it can be very frightening to take your children out of their comfort zone. But inside, you know that you're not showing up as the mother or the wife that you wish to be because something is getting very quiet. You're thinking, I'm choosing the peace, but what you're choosing is silence. Now, before I give you the pivot filter, I have a 5-day free masterclass that's coming up in June. And if you would like to be the first person to know about it, the link is down below. So go ahead and join the wait list. I will let you know as soon as the doors open. All right, let's get into the pivot filter. I am going to give you 3 questions that are going to help you make the right move. So question number 1, am I trying to escape, prove, or align? And here are the deeper questions. Is this decision about getting away from discomfort? Is this decision about proving something? Is this decision aligned with the woman that I am becoming? But let me get a little bit more specific. Now, if you're making a career move, ask yourself, am I leaving this job because I'm called into something new or because I'm exhausted and unsupported? If it's a divorce or a relationship, am I making this choice from truth or because I just want the pain to stop today? Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you have to make the pain stop immediately, especially matters that involve abuse, right? Now, I want to give you an example. Before I left my marriage, I did a lot of work on myself because I wanted to make sure I'm making a decision from contentment, that I know I've tried everything and there's nothing else to try. In fact, it was my coach. I had to get a marriage coach to be able to figure that out. I did not want to turn around and regret what I did not do before I left. Now, if you're launching a business, you may want to ask yourself, am I launching this offer because it's aligned? Or am I scared that I'm going to be irrelevant? I have made a few mistakes myself after I left my previous business. It was a partnership, very successful, and I left at the peak. And once I left, I jumped right into coaching. Now I found coaching and I thought, you know what? When people ask me what I'm doing now, this is going to be great. I'm going to talk about coaching. So I got right into coaching before I started working on myself. The program was great. I started my business right away and I suffered with a lot of self-doubt. I was quick to make a decision to stay relevant when I had a lot of work to do on myself to find that comfort or to find the alignment or to find the confidence to be able to support others in my coaching business. Now, if you're going through a life transition, you might ask yourself, am I saying yes because I want this? Or am I saying yes because I don't want to disappoint people? So now let's move on to question number 2 of the pivot filter. You want to ask yourself, what emotion is driving the timeline? See, as high achievers, we have a tendency of creating artificial urgency. So some of the questions you want to ask yourself are, why now? What do I believe will happen if I slow down? Am I being led or am I being chased? Is this God's timing or is it my ego's timing? Or is it my nervous system that's determining the timing? The urgency doesn't always mean intuition. Sometimes urgency is aligned with a nervous system that's not regulated, that's craving relief. The third question is, what would change if I gave myself 30 days of clean preparation? So some of the questions you want to ask yourself are, what would I research? Who would I talk to? What numbers would I need? What support would I need? Truth do I need to admit to myself? What boundaries do I need to practice? What experiment could I run before making this permanent? Now, let me get a little bit more specific again. Before you quit that job, have 3 informational interviews. But if you're going to leave without anything aligned, have you calculated your runway? Is the issue the company, or is it your career, or is it the leadership, or are you really burning out? And let me tell you something. When you're burning out and choose to jump into another career or another company, you're just moving the pain from one environment to another. Nothing changes. And as I said earlier, if it's about a relationship, get honest about the patterns that got you where you were in the first place. What safety are you looking for? What values are you looking for? What support do you need? You want to ask yourself, what's the real cost when I move? And you also want to get very clear on whether you're moving towards something or whether you're running away from yourself. Now, running away from yourself means that there are some things that you need to work on that you are avoiding. All right. So let's move on to question number 4. You want to ask yourself, what is the next clean step? A clean step is very specific. It's calm. It's values aligned. It's enough to do this week or tomorrow. And it's not dependent on proving anything to anyone. A clean step might look something like, I'll book a conversation with someone in the field that I'm considering. Or I'll review my finances before I make the next move. Or I will tell the truth in my journal before I tell the world. I will ask for help with one thing that I usually carry alone. I will test the offer before rebuilding the whole business. Or I'll stop negotiating against myself before I know what I need. When you're in the messy middle, you don't need to have the whole plan or the entire path mapped out. You just need one move that does not betray your future self. Now, I'm going to take a pause here. If this pivot filter resonated with you, if a light bulb just went on, do me a small favor and hit the like button below. It is a free way to say thank you, and it tells YouTube that this conversation is valuable, so it may find more women who need to hear this. Thank you, and I really appreciate that. Now, I'm going to leave you with a mini exercise that's going to help you with that decision. Now's a good time if you want to pause the video and write down the decision that you're wrestling with. The questions or the statements that I want you to write down and complete the blanks go something like this. I may be trying to escape, and then fill in the blank. I may be trying to prove, fill in the blank. The emotion driving my timeline, fill in the blank. If I gave myself 30 days of clean preparation, I would do this next step. This is very simple, but it's very transformational, and it gives you an immediate win. I want to help you not make the same mistakes that I made when I left my marriage. 2 years prior to that, I had left my business. So I was broke. I had no income, no sufficient income. I had 4 kids I was raising. In fact, I first moved in with my parents, and then later on, I was able to move into my place, but with the help of my brothers. So what I was doing, making decision from a state of panic. I was making investments in businesses that I was not ready for. In fact, I talk about this in one of my earlier videos. I spent $20,000 on coaching, on Amazon FBA, things that I was not ready for, money that I did not even have. I lost all that money because I made decisions from panic. So if you're in the messy middle right now, I want you to know this. You are standing in between 2 identities. The work is not making the move. The work is making the move from the right place inside you. This is exactly what we're going to walk through inside the Pivot Masterclass. And the next clean step, so you can stop rebuilding your life from panic and start rebuilding with clarity. So if you haven't already Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Also, you don't miss the rest of the series. And if you know another woman, a friend, a sister, a colleague, somebody who's in the messy middle, please recommend this video to them. Also, don't forget to put your name on the wait list so you will be the first to know as soon as the doors open. Tell me what you're struggling with, what decision is holding you hostage right now in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video.